Hello and welcome to another video, and this time we will talk about GTA 6. Well, before the release, we're just gonna talk about all the stuff that has been released right now, and all the stuff that we know of. There's been a lot of speculation and a lot of videos that people have been making that is continuously generating more hype. If you're one of those people that watch basically almost everybody uploading any video about GTA 6, maybe to try and see if you can find something that you didn't know before, here's another video for you. Now there's not going to be much speculation because just like in GTA 5, a lot of speculation turned out to not being true, and I don't want to overhype myself for this game, and I mostly want to just see what is actually going to be in the game and according to the leaks and whatnot that we have discovered. So this video will be in multiple parts. This is basically chapter 1 of this whole of watching GTA 6 stuff and commenting on all the stuff that we have found out and that Rockstar has showed to us up to this date. I will be doing more videos about this, but for now we will mostly be focusing on the first trailer and also the mapping project for this first video. So that's the first chapter. It's basically just trailer 1. So let's begin with the first screen. I remember when this was leaked and then we see all of this. Now, of course, we knew it was going to be a pretty crazy map, but seeing the colors, the graphics, and especially all the stuff that is happening on the screen just on the first shot alone is a lot. So let's start from the top of the screen and move our way to the bottom. And even I will compare it to GTA 5. So number 1, the top, we see all the clouds. There's a cloud super duper high up, like I don't know what is the name of this type of cloud formation, but I'll just circle it where the plane is. Now, these clouds super high up because they are clouds that are really high. I don't know if we're going to be able to fly up to them. I don't know if they're volumetric clouds or if they're just, a picture in the sky, and then we're going to be limited by the height that we can travel. But if this is actually volumetric clouds, that'll be pretty cool. The reason why I don't know if this is volumetric clouds is because the clouds that are below, as we can see here, are quite different in terms of like how I am perceiving them. They look way more 3D in comparison to those higher clouds. Now, maybe this is just in terms of perspective because of the sun rays, these clouds being lower, therefore we see mainly their shadows being cast by those clouds, and with these other clouds being higher, while the sun rays are hitting these clouds from under, giving them a different look. Number 2 thing that I noticed is the plane that is flying by is also the contrails that are happening from behind this plane. Now, granted, this would not happen at this height, so that plane should be much higher, and all of this actually supports my initial thought of thinking that the clouds that are super high are probably not volumetric, especially at this time where the trailer was released, because this plane should be much higher to be able to produce those contrails by the temperature being much cooler up there. It should be basically up to those levels of those clouds, or maybe even higher. So yeah, the plane should be much smaller. So planes already flying this low in the game, just like in GTA 5, the planes were not flying that high, and with the planes flying this low, it already gives an idea of how the game is gonna be. Now, of course, we don't need planes flying super duper high and all that stuff. We don't need it to be like Microsoft Flight Sim. That is not important to the game. It's not important to the story either. Now, number 2 or 3 thing moving down from the screen, actually, let's talk about this giant radio tower or whatever pole this is. That is a very tall structure. Are we going to be able to scale that? I mean, if not, I don't really care. But I do wonder if we're going to be able to destroy this thing, just like the tall radio towers in Just Cause. Probably not. I'm pretty sure it's going to be an indestructible object. It is what it is. At the end of the day, in real life, those things would be pretty sturdy, especially with the cables holding it down. It's not something you can just throw C4 at it and then destroy it, I don't think. So yeah. But another thing that we noticed are the birds flying around. Now, those birds are not flying in formation or whatever. They're flying in a very messy pattern. And this is one thing that I'm not I gotta admit, in GTA 5, although they added a lot of wildlife, especially for the next gen release and PC release, I don't think I noticed many birds flying around, and especially in flocks. In Red Dead Redemption 2, there were some birds, ducks and whatnot, and we see them sometimes flying together, but I don't recall birds flying like this. But at the end of the day, in Red Dead 2, there were a lot of birds. And again, this is the thing that is actually kind of impressive. I mean, it's a bit of a tangent, but kind of impressive about GTA 6, because Red Dead Redemption 2, that game looking that good and being over 5 years old, it's like, what, 7, 8 years old or something like that? Oh gosh, that's a long time ago. Anyways, that game being this old and still being compared to games released now is mind-boggling. And on top of that, we should not forget Red Dead 2 was made for the PS4. Let that sink in. So with that logic and understanding, the PS5 is gonna be a version that is leaps and bounds more advanced in every single way than the release of GTA 5 on the PS3 and Xbox 360. But yeah, moving on. That's pretty wild. As we can see, the buildings in Vice City, the skyscrapers, that is quite a distance away. I don't know what distance that is, but I have a feeling it's probably a distance similar to, from that bridge, all the way up to those buildings, probably a distance similar to like the halfway point of, I would say, GTA 5 of like the Maze Bank building, and like the halfway point from Paleto Bay. It's not Paleto Bay, what am I saying? Sandy Shores, or maybe all the way up to Sandy Shores, because we see the trees and all that stuff as we come into the bridge. That's a huge draw distance. Now, granted, even in Red Dead Redemption 2, the draw distance is insane in my opinion, even on the PS4. Now I had it for the PS4 Pro, and the draw distance blew me away back then. And then when I bought it again for PC with even better looking visuals, wow, it again blew my mind. Now again, the map of Red Dead Redemption 2 is said to be smaller than even the map of GTA 5, which is weird because it doesn't feel like it, but that's also because the world is actually packed full of things. Even though the towns and cities are very small in comparison to Los Santos, there's so much packed into this map that even the areas that feel like there's nothing, there's something happening. And most of the time, it's wildlife and whatnot, and also some random encounters from strangers. So the map, you never really feel like there's nothing to do or very bored when you play this game. In fact, I don't even remember really fast traveling that much in Red Dead Redemption 2 when I played it, because I enjoyed traveling that world. And if they do the same thing with GTA 6, with this map also being way bigger, the speculation is said that it's gonna be about twice as big as GTA 5's map. Honestly, that would be pretty insane if it is packed full of things to do and encounters and whatnot. Now, to be honest, I'm just gonna put a little bit of a caveat. I would have loved for GTA 6 the map to actually be more than twice as big as GTA 5's map. Now that's just me, because I love a huge map, because not necessarily the bigger the map. If it's a big map that is empty, that's kind of like it's breaking the immersion, but a nice map that is big and realistic enough just brings up the immersion. But anyways, I don't believe that they will fail in terms of the map size, because again, if I go all the way back to GTA 4, that map is tiny, but it was still very immersive to play GTA 4, especially back in the day. GTA 5, it was a little less immersive, I'm not gonna lie, because when you really look at LA, that city is huge. There is so much concrete in that city. So seeing Los Santos and seeing how far you can get from one neighborhood to another, from like the suburbs to the Hollywood area, and then the business district, it's like you can get through there so fast. It kind of broke the immersion in a little bit. But this map obviously is not even going to be half of Miami, because Miami is still pretty freaking big. And let's be real, I would not want Vice City to be half the size of Miami. That'll be insane. There will be way too much, and it would get boring at some point. But that's besides the point. I'm blabbering off for way too long. Sorry about that. Let's move on to the rest of the image. If we look down, we see again a water treatment plant. and then more trees and the amount of cars that are driving by, and then we see their headlights going all the way very far from these cars here. And you know, there's a lot of different varieties of vehicles that we can see already, and that's pretty cool. So we're just going to continue to move forward through the frames. If we look at the boat, we can see the wake that it's leaving behind. And yeah, I wonder if that prison is a prison that is like split between guys and women, or if it's just like because obviously we're not going to put them together in the same prison. We will see when the game comes out. And we see more birds flying by. And then the first initial scene, there's quite a few things. Number one, the particles, the dust particles. Now, Red Dead Redemption 2 had some decent level dust particles. It wasn't too crazy, but in this game, I feel like the particles are going to be even crazier. Number two is the different types of glass materials. Here, this glass, we can hardly see what's happening outside because this type of glass, I don't know what it's called, but it makes things outside quite blurry. So you can't really see what's happening inside when you're outside and blah, blah, blah. And I think it's a type of glass also with the metal wires, you know, so you can't just break through that glass with ease. It's a very thick glass and with the wire to protect it from shattering. We see that Lucia with the bed on the side, she's probably in her cell, so to speak. So there's that. But then as she's turning her head, the reflection on her face from the sun and the reflection of her prison jumpsuit on her face, that is some crazy level ray tracing. I have a feeling that the level of ray tracing and lighting quality that Rockstar is going to put into this game is going to be something that is probably going to rival even path tracing. I don't think it's going to be it's definitely not going to be path tracing because the PS5 and the Xbox Series is not going to be able to handle that, obviously. But I have a feeling it's going to be something very close to that. Now, this is just ray tracing calculations. Now, they're probably refining all these things before the game is ready for release. And to be completely honest with you, if it doesn't really get that close to path tracing, it's no big deal. Wait till you release it on PC and then have path tracing in. We see here, Lucia, do you know why you're here? By this woman. And as she is talking to Lucia, the crazy thing about this, her hair is moving. The hair of everybody is going to be moving. Now, again, looking back at Red Dead Redemption 2, Arthur's hair moved a little bit, but not a whole lot. In this, because even when you had long hair with Arthur, it didn't move in areas where it probably should, and that's fair. It was the old Rage engine, and then it was also made to run on the PS4. Here's another thing that I actually want to point out. Although Red Dead Redemption 2 looks amazing, and with the map size and everything, we can't forget that a game like Assassin's Creed Origins, if I'm correct, had a bigger map, and the level of graphical quality in that game was also pretty crazy. And that also was made for PS4 and Xbox One. So yeah. Although now the other thing is, and this is the main thing that makes GTA 6, that will make GTA 6 hopefully stand out compared to every other game, it's not the graphics. Because there's other games out there that look amazing. The newly released Assassin's Creed Black Flag Resync looks absolutely insanely good in terms of graphical quality. But what will make GTA 6 stand out is not the graphics, it's all the other things that make a world feel believable. Because honestly, it could have come out with graphics that is, let's say, just as good, exactly just as good as Red Dead Redemption 2. But if it came out with all the stuff that is, you know, predicted to have, it would still be insane. So yeah, and this here, bad luck, I guess, again with her hair slightly moving. And yeah, it looks like Lucia has a bit of makeup. I guess they allow prison inmates to put makeup on their face while they are in prison. Cool. And now, as we get to the intro sequence and we see a new boat. I don't think I've seen this boat. This boat is not in GTA 5 if I remember correctly. So we're gonna get quite a lot of new boats, and it makes sense because in Miami, the amount of water, obviously, we're gonna need a lot more new boats. And we see the wake that is being left behind by this boat, which is insane because it's a lot heavier than what GTA 5 had. And in fact, it's quite heavier than many other games that I've seen that have wake. I was expecting other games to have also a fairly similar amount of weight, but you know, with Rockstar and their patent that we found that about what they were doing with the water technology, I really wonder how it's going to be, because again, water physics is not something that's easy to do. And in most games, in fact, who am I kidding? All games until now, or maybe until GTA 6, are using, they're cheating their way into water physics, because even if they make the water movement seem very good and whatnot, because we see Crimson Desert with its water physics and all that stuff, it looks very good. But the thing is, to make water physics work, say with a boat for buoyancy, and then to make sure the boat, floats in the water believably, because the boat doesn't remain stationary in place, it goes up and down with the waves, and then the character also goes up and down in the waves. To do all of that, and then also they're gonna have to make it work with online as well, is gonna be something that would require so much calculation. So if they figured something out with that, that's pretty cool, because in Sea of Thieves, that's the same thing that they had to work with in order to make it work. It's easy to lock NPCs and other things like that onto a boat, and then make the boat seemingly move with the waves, with some other ways to cheat the illusion, so like this it looks believable. But to make it work with online, and then have the player also having the ability to go, move around the boat, jump, and all these other things, that's not something that's very easy to do. So I wonder, and then on top of that, with the boat physics in terms of water physics in terms of water collisions and all these other things, that's going to be crazy to see. Let's continue on as we see the dolphins and a shark. Very nice as we continue to pan, and again we see another speedboat passing by. Now it came all the way from over there, and we still see the how do you call this in English? We still see the foam, the water foam, whatever, that the boat has left behind, all the way over there, and that boat is here. And then there's a jet ski, there's two jet skis, and then birds flying by, big birds, as we see their shadows even being portrayed on the water. So that is already pretty insane. And as we see the water waves on top of that here, the way it's shimmering with the sun rays, it's already pretty freaking insane. Anyways, so as we can see here, the sheer amount of NPCs, I'm not going to count all of them, but I'm pretty sure there's at least 100 NPCs. And I don't know how the draw distance was with Red Dead Redemption 2, but that is a lot. So already that is pretty insane to me, that we can see them from that distance. Now, obviously, they're not rendered to their full quality. Yeah, still pretty crazy. So let's continue on. As Rockstar Game presents, now we see the helicopter and the plane flying by. Now, obviously, those things are, I'm pretty sure it's just set there on purpose. I don't know if we're going to see this happening a lot. Maybe. It is totally possible. But with this thing on the back of the plane, that is crazy, because again, that's physics right there. It's not just a simple animation, unless they did do an animation. And another thing I want to point out from the sky. Now we see the plane again with the contrails. Now this height, still it's a little bit too low, but it's higher than the other one, the one at the beginning of the trailer. So sure, whatever. But and then we see the clouds. The clouds are a little bit higher, and we don't see those other. Actually, no, we do see those other clouds here. Again, I don't think that cloud is 3D. But anyways, lots and lots of high rises or tall buildings, not skyscrapers. Those are not skyscrapers. Way more than whatever is in Los Santos. Now, here is another nice scene. Now, I want to bring ourselves back to the leaks and all that stuff. And we see two planes this time with contrails. And again, they're really low, but whatever. I guess it's just something we're going to see a lot in the game at this rate. Unless if Rockstar at some point decides, you know what, let's cut just contrails, because, the planes are nowhere near high enough for this to be happening. Either way, the buildings that we see here, because of the leaks, people thought, oh, would these buildings be enterable and all that stuff? No, let's be real. It would not be enterable. I mean, I answered that question very fast. It's pretty clear that these buildings are not going to be enterable. Those are all parallax buildings. And again, it goes with how Rockstar, again, with their patent, I do believe the patent also would encompass these buildings, because I don't know why you would make a game where all of this is enterable. I mean, let's be real. That's a lot of stuff to design, bro. Especially, unless if you want those floors to be empty, sure, Rockstar could do that. Now, to dynamically populate each floor when you enter the building and blah, 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 and all that stuff, I wouldn't say it's necessarily impossible, but I highly doubt that it's going to be the case. And let's be real, it's already been cleared out with the leaks, with the information that No, it's a lot less buildings that we may think that are enterable, but it's still a lot more buildings than GTA 5. Now, I have no idea how many enterable buildings are in Red Dead Redemption 2, and I don't really care. Another thing that I want to point out is the NPCs that we see. Some people leaning against the rails and, whatever. A lot of NPC action. I don't see a lot of NPCs doing stuff on the balcony, so I guess this proves my point our point, I guess, that those buildings are not enterable, as we don't see an NPC here. If some action was happening, the NPC could go back inside, but we don't see that. So yeah. So we continue. We see one of those boats. I forgot what it's called again, but yeah, the boat with the propeller in the back. So we see that. This is all in the Evergreens, or the Grass Rivers. Is that what it's called in GTA 6? So yeah. And flamingos. I don't think flamingos were in Red Dead Redemption 2. I don't know if they were in Guarma, however you say that. We can see flamingos here, and they've added flamingos, as we see also some alligators. They're called alligators, right? And there's going to be different sizes of alligators too. I think in Red Dead Redemption 2, there were also different sizes for alligators or crocodiles or whatever. So that's pretty cool. So instead of having the bayou of Red Dead Redemption 2, which would be like in Louisiana, we're going to have the Grass Rivers and their version of swamp marshlands and whatnot. Nice. I'm glad they didn't fully throw that technology out, because they're utilizing more of that, and even something else that we're going to see later on in the trailer. Here is the beach again. Now we see all those NPCs. Insane level of NPC population. Imagine if we see even NPCs all the way over there. Now, I don't think that's possible, because the NPCs that are just over here, I don't think they're doing anything. Let's play a bit the clip and see if they're moving. No, I think they're just remaining completely stationary. So that means those NPCs, this is the limit of the rendering of the NPCs to add detail and whatnot. So otherwise, they're just going to be standing still. Now, here's the other thing. In terms of streaming the NPCs from when you're here and then going towards them, at what point do they start moving? That's the real question. So what I'm getting at is, I don't think we're going to see this level of NPCs in the actual release of the game. There's going to be a lot of NPCs still, but I don't know if we're going to see all these NPCs happening and all this level of interaction and whatnot. Rockstar, feel free to surprise me with that. But that is a lot of stuff. Again, to run on the PS5, I wouldn't say it's impossible, especially with the patent that they developed. Again, that's this time with the AI and the streaming of NPCs and whatnot. I don't know. NPCs doing things. And here's another thing that I would like to point out that we saw in the leaks. Now, in the leaks, when we saw the main character, either Lucia or Jason, walking around, there was one part where Jason, I think, was walking inside of the strip club, and we see the NPCs. They're just regular models. Like, they're not NPCs at all. They're just mannequins, I guess you could say. And those mannequins are also different shapes and sizes, different heights and all that stuff. And that got me wondering, was that their initial pipeline of making the NPCs? Because if we see here, we see that there's not a single NPC that repeats itself, which is insane. And that, I believe, is because of their model of NPCs, that if we get rid of all the texture and details of these NPCs, they're just going to be those mannequin types. And that goes with their procedural generation of NPCs, where there's a different head, different body type, different arms, torso, legs, and all that stuff. And then it just gets attached to that mannequin. And then boom, we have this level of NPC, because there's all these different, leg sizes, arm sizes, person height, and all these things. That would be pretty wild if that's how they came up with that. Not only we don't see a lot of repeats, but I'm seeing that they also have different heights. As we see those two ladies, they're different heights. I'm sure the guys also, because so far the guys kind of look like they're all the same height. But, I will tell. And again, the quality of the texturing and all that stuff, wild. But as we continue, going back to boats, here's a crazy thing again, showing the technology that Rockstar has implemented for those boats. Now, the splash, whatever things that the boat is creating, looks very low quality right now. check this out. It's not the highest, like the little droplets of water being splashed around. It's not the highest quality. It looks very blurred. I don't know if it's because of the motion of the image, but again, I don't know if how much compression is being done. We will see when we see in person. But the thing that I find crazy is the waves that the boats are creating when they're moving around, and we can already see that. Like, just take a look at that. That is insane. If you can really see that. I mean, I don't know if we can play it in slow motion. Oh yes, we can. So let's play it in slow motion. Just look at the waves the boats are creating, and I wonder if those waves are going to be able to affect other boats in the area and other things like that. That'd be pretty sick. It's just more stuff to make it more immersive at the end of the day. And as we continue, we see, Lucy and Jason, as, I guess they're celebrating something. I don't know what it is exactly. They're passing by the arena, driving down the highway, and then we see how the roads are populated. There's a guy in another car filming them. I think that's maybe their friends, and they're just going on a bit of a joyride. And we see also the reflections of Lucia on the hood of the car, the carbon hood. That's not a hood, on the roof. Jeez. And that's pretty crazy. But we also see the lighting. There's interior lighting in the car. So I think we're gonna have those lighting. I don't know if we're gonna be able to change those lights or if it will just change automatically or something like that. But that looks pretty cool. And here's another beautiful thing is, again, more about the lighting, is the lighting in the buildings. That's pretty sick, but there's also a hole in that building, so that's definitely a stunt thing that's gonna be happening in the game. I'm pretty sure we're gonna be able to fly our plane through that hole. And as we continue here, now this scene, although it looks very nice, there is a problem. Lucia's hair is not only very pixelated, I really wonder how they're gonna work to make the hairs look not that pixelated when the game is released. But the hair is not flowing in the wind as it should. Now, obviously, when we see some other screenshots and small little videos, we see her hair moving adequately. This is probably just a small error, small miscalculation in the game engine. It's no big deal. But yeah, the hair is not moving as crazy as it should, because if you're driving at that speed, the hair should be moving insane. Unless if you're driving in the highway for some reason at around 15 to 20 miles per hour. Any faster, the hair would be moving pretty crazy. But yeah, that's a pretty cool scene. And here's another thing, is a car meet. Now I don't know, this is definitely just a random, it looks like it's a thing that just happens in the open world. You're gonna see car meets of different neighborhoods and stuff like that. People are gonna be doing things, which is insane. In Red Dead 2, there were already some people doing things, but those were mostly curated random events that are happening that you can partake in, such as if there's a hanging or clan members meeting up, and that stuff, etc., or maybe a guy at the street doing music and there's people around listening. But when we see this with the amount of pedestrians, the NPCs, I'm calling them pedestrians now. They're so realistic. I'm calling them pedestrians. That's crazy. But we see the amount of cars, how the AI is entering. This person has their hand hanging out and they're just looking at stuff. That is crazy, man. Is this game really gonna look like this? And I will say why I doubt this in a minute. But when we see this, that's insane with the amount of stuff. And again, in the strip clubs even, there's a lot happening. I don't know how crazy it's gonna be, but yeah. Here are some gang members greeting each other. And here's another scene with traffic. And we see the traffic so far away. The draw distance. That is insane, because there's so much happening. All these boats happening. All the different little lights happening. And even the NPCs walking about. Now, actually, this is another thing that I want to know is, are these NPCs moving? Are they real? I don't think they are. I think I found some fake NPCs. Those NPCs right there, I think those are two people walking about. I think those are just a very super low poly version of these NPCs, just like the typical mannequin one, and even the NPCs over there. And then when you get closer, it will stream in procedurally, head, arms, torso, blah, 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 and all that stuff. So like this, you actually get a human. But I don't think these people are real. They're just projections. But here, down on ground level, again, some people thought, oh, is this an actual interior? No, this is parallax, straight up. I don't see why this would be an actual interior. Honestly, I don't see why. It's some clever tricks, but again, I highly doubt we would be able to enter. Now, if I'm proven wrong and we can actually enter those rooms, that would be insane, and I would definitely love that, but I highly doubt that this is the case. And here we see again, guy taking a picture, and it looks like that picture is actually being real. Like, we see the sky here, and it's the same color, and then the buildings and how it looks like, it looks very similar from that far away. That's insane. But here again, the ladies, the guy on the street, so much is happening here. NPCs getting out of their cars. It's crazy, man. It's just crazy. And then the club. Now, we're definitely going to be able to go to many clubs and parties and whatnot throughout the game, which is going to be very interesting, because like in GTA 4 with the Ballad of Gay-Tony, that was a very fun aspect of that game. And in GTA 5, although there was Bahamas, we could not enter that, and I don't understand why. And here's another thing that actually kind of frustrated me in GTA 5. In GTA 4, when you went to go drink with your friends, you actually walk inside the bar, and then, you know, it would fade to black, and then you would be drunk, and then you would be inside the bar and walking out. But in GTA 5, when you go drinking with the characters, it's just Michael and Trevor, apparently. I don't know if we could do it with Lamar, but when you were to hang with those guys, I think you could, and then you could with also Jimmy and all that stuff. But I never really cared to do that because it felt so half-assed. In GTA 4, you could play darts, you could play pool, you could go bowling, and then you can get drunk and even look and watch a show or something like that. In GTA 5, you can't watch shows, you can't play darts, you can I think you can go golfing with them, so at least there's that, and you can play tennis, but you can't play pool, even though I think that in the game there was a pool table and a darts board, but you couldn't do that. And when you go for a drink, you just walk out, you're already outside, and you're drunk, and then that's it. I mean, talk about a downgrade. And here again, so many NPCs, the hair is moving, all being simulated, crazy. Now here's another thing that we see with some fake NPCs being generated, or just, you know, very low detailed stuff. Number one, we see the traffic happening, the traffic being rendered from very far away. But I think the rendering basically stops as soon as we see the shadows no longer being cast. And that would be right here. This truck is the last thing, or maybe this car here is the last thing that is casting a shadow. Everything else is not casting a shadow. And I don't think any of those vehicles are real. They are probably, like, if you get close, you're probably still gonna see this truck here, and there's a bus over there. But I do believe that it's like super duper low poly to save on a lot of computing power, and that makes sense at the end of the day. But yeah, as we see they're moving really slowly and kind of like very boring like, is the rendering of the water. There's a very strong looking film grain at the edge of the screen, especially the further down you go. I should have pointed that out on the previous scenes, because I'm noticing, maybe it's just the noise and whatever, but it looks like there's a strong film grain on basically almost every scene. Now, a lot of games do that. I don't know why. I'm definitely going to turn it off if I can on the console, but I don't think I will be able to. I think that's only a PC thing. Sad. Anyway, boats, plane. I don't think I need to talk about that really, because it looks good. And as we continue here at another party, again, the sheer level of different NPCs doing different things. This is another thing. I don't think I saw an animation being repeated, but again, I would like to clarify, this is a trailer. Everything here has been carefully curated to show you the best parts. And here we see Lucia, or people say it's Lucia, probably is, with the hair, again, very pixelated and flowing nicely, actually, when you think about it. Not a whole lot of volume in that hair, but it's okay. And here's another part of that, and we're just gonna quick fire through all of that. That is the fact that there is gonna be those, you know, a lot of social media. We're not really gonna go home and watch a bunch of TV, because realistically, who's really doing that nowadays? We're not really watching TV channels and all that stuff. Now, there's still gonna be stuff happening on TV for sure, But I think on the TV, if they have a smart TV, we're going to watch things that are posted on social media on the smart TV, or it's just going to be on your phone, and you're going to see people doing things like that. Now, these things that are happening, I do believe that they're just going to be, just like on the TV and the previous GTA games. It's all pre-made scenes and all that stuff. So I think that's what's going to be happening. It's not actually going to be like, oh, this actually happened. And then if you travel there, you can see those people. There's another detail that people have noticed as well. The sun affecting your skin. So that's pretty cool. Is there going to be a sunscreen type of feature added to the game? Who knows? But as we see here, and then the poach officer that is getting rid of an alligator in somebody's backyard. So I wonder if we're going to be able to even like go to a random house and then see that there's an alligator at some point. And who knows if we're going to see the NPCs interacting and calling Poach to go and get rid of the alligator. Now this is just full speculation, but if this was random events, because in Red Dead Redemption 2 there were some events where you can actually look at an NPC doing something. Say for example, an NPC doing their daily tasks, such as working in the farm or building a house. You could literally just watch them the whole day, and then they will go about their task, and then go to the bar, and then after that go home and sleep. We saw that literally happening in Red Dead 2. Now it wasn't all the NPCs. Most NPCs were doing very basic things or nothing at all. But even shopkeepers would close up shop and then go inside their room and go to sleep. You couldn't get inside their rooms, obviously, but they would still go there and go to sleep. That's crazy. And even one time I do remember when I was waiting for the shop to open, I see the shopkeeper entering the building. No, not entering the building, but coming out of his room basically. And then boom, the shop was open. And then I could buy something. And that felt insane back then. So I wonder how much they've evolved that. So we will be able to see maybe even more NPCs just going about their day. And here we see lady twerking on a car. Again, those things, I don't think we're going to see that live. I think it's 100% just a cutscene type of thing. Imagine if you see this happening live and then you decide to plow the car. Oh my gosh. I do believe this game is going to make us very uncomfortable in a lot of situations, because if the NPCs actually react like real people, us being cruel to them will feel weird. I do remember there were times in Red Dead Redemption 2, and in fact, even to this day, I don't go out of my way that often, I guess you could say, just decided to go on a rampage, because I don't want to do that. Those people, especially back in the day, feel too real. I do not want to do that. And I wonder on this, how much more real are these people going to feel, to the point where we're just like, no, I don't want to shoot them. In GTA 5, they felt like cardboard. So it didn't matter if I shot them. They all reacted the same way. I was like, yeah, whatever. But in this, whoa, we will see. Now here's a scene. Now again, I don't think this is a scene that will happen in the open world. Maybe it is, but we see a lot is happening in the scene. This guy on his chair over there, first of all, is turning around, trying to see what the fuss is all about. Shopkeep, some people, and I think somebody else was, they were running away from fear. A lady and this guy, they were like, whoa, I need to get out of there, seeing the alligator walking in. And then there's people in the gas station just staring at this whole event going on. This guy filling with gas his truck, filling his truck with gas, not really paying attention. But there's these people across the street that notice this happening, and they're reacting to this event. That's insane. Another thing that's pretty insane is how the shop is populated with stuff. I do wonder, remembering back again with Red Dead Redemption 2, am I going to be able to buy these things, these snacks? Am I going to be able to buy some stuff around the shop, some other snacks? Maybe not everything in the shop, obviously. I don't think we're going to be able to buy paper towels. I don't see what we're going to be doing with paper towels, but with some stuff, maybe some stuff for first aid, stuff for just to feed ourselves. Is our character gonna get hungry at some point? And then here again, that's a cutscene obviously, but we see again NPCs different looking. That's the police. Everybody looks different. Not every police officer is wearing the same exact uniform. This scene, whatever, Florida man, and then that again, and that I think is a ruiner. We see again the interior, the door, the amount of detail on that thing. and all the stuff that is happening. Insane, man. Here are two things about this scene that is crazy. I mean, three things. The guy doing this, are we gonna see NPCs doing this just like this instead of on the app, whatever Instagram app or TikTok app that we're gonna use? But yeah, NPCs doing this would be crazy. Number two, the reflections on the mirrors of the car, we can see they're definitely real reflections. This is like in game, because as we see, it's like ray tracing with all the noise being done. This is clearly ray tracing being done. And then the simulation on the hair, insane. NPC watering his whatever, just however he pleases, and also getting his skin burned at the same time. Here's another thing, and that's what I wanted to bring back to with the swamps, is the mud. There was definitely some good mud deformation and snow deformation. I don't think there's going to be snow deformation in this game, unless if they want to bring up the north of Georgia, but there's definitely going to be some mud deformation. And I don't know how crazy it's going to be, but not only we're going to be able to get muddied, but also NPCs are going to be able to get muddied. And that event, are we going to be able to attend an event like this and then do crazy stunts? Most likely. So that's pretty crazy. And again, the sheer level of NPCs. And we continue on, look back, blah, blah, blah. More details that some other people maybe pointed out, as we see here. Now, the Wheels on News thing, I do believe that this is 100% something that you will see on the TV. I don't think this is something you will see in person during the game. I am more than happy to be wrong about this, but we do see the AI reacting accordingly to this whole thing, and then the police officers also dragging the person out of the car. Are we gonna be able to see something like this happening if we crash into somebody? Are we gonna be able to see, the world reacting to all that, instead of like the person is crashing and then they're dead in the car and then that's it and nobody cares? Are people we have to react and then do something about it? Only time will tell. But here's another thing that I noticed: the underside of the car, very nicely detailed. And I do wonder how the damage is going to look like in the car, and also the environmental damage. How much of the environment are we going to be able to damage? In GTA 5, it was basically zero, except for some gates and whatnot. But in this, I wonder how much. And yeah, some other stuff. And then NPCs driving about from like the Haitian neighborhood, I guess. But yeah, as we let the end of this trailer play, this is basically that for part one. Man, there's still so much I would like to talk about, because there's all these little details that we can spot in the game, the different lighting stuff and whatnot being done. But I think that's enough. When we hear about the leaks and all the things that were found in this, it's insane. We look about the map, let's say, for example, what we have discovered, especially from the leaks. Now, if Leonida, not just Leonida, Vice City, if it looks like that, I mean, look, it looks big, but at the same time, in some ways, it looks kind of small. I do hope that it's a lot bigger. Now, obviously, we don't have all the streets. There's a whole lot more streets missing. We just have basic streets here. So there's a lot of stuff. But when I look at the size of the airport being a more realistic size, like this is the terminal, and then maybe we're gonna be able to enter the interior, and we see the length of the runway. When I compare that to the rest of the city, I'm like, whoa, this needs to be a little bit bigger, because like we're gonna be tiny like this. This is the runway, very long, and then you fly a little bit, maybe for like 2-3 minutes, and you're already at the edge of the map. Wait, that's a little too skinny. I want it to be bigger. Obviously, we don't know how big this area is as we see the red stripes. So I hope it's just a little bit larger, a little bit more bloated. I would like that. Port Gellhorn, as we see again, not a whole lot. It's basically, this is like one block. I really hope we don't get like towns of just one block. Now, we don't know what's happening here. So I do hope it's like multiple blocks for every town that we get. It's not just, a tiny little thing like Paleto Bay or Sandy Shores. I want more, because I don't want just one big city. It'd be so much better, in my opinion, if there were 2 cities. San Andreas felt big because it had 3 cities. GTA 4 was just one giant city, and although the map is small, it was immersive enough. GTA 5 is one big city with towns, and the towns felt very insignificant and very, very small. I want Ambrosia to be a little bit bigger. It'd be a nice Port Galhorn especially to be a little bit larger. Who knows what's going to happen above there. But yeah, I want more. Not just one city. It'd be so cool if we had like the Orlando type city. You know what I'm saying? So as we not only have Vice City, we have another city. And then we get two cities. That would be pretty sick. But if they're planning to expand maybe to the Bahamas or Cuba, that's another city that they can add. The Keys is not really a city, but again, as we see here, it's just 3 blocks. I mean, in real life, they kind of have more than that. Again, this is just a prediction. Who knows? We will see. And we will see on the next video, on the next chapter, when we're going to compare trailer 2 and the screenshots. Hopefully it'll be a little bit shorter, but we only have 125 days left. And before we do that, I want to point out from GTA 5, the trailer, the first trailer of GTA 5. First of all, there were dogs and I think cats as well. I don't know if there were cats. I think it was just dogs on the PS4 release. But look at this scene. We see a couple walking up on the beach and then birds flying about. That was not in the game. I've never seen a couple walking in the beach like that with a dog. So that was mainly that. I've never seen that still, but in the enhanced, the next gen version, I saw more NPCs doing things that looked somewhat believable. But in the PS5, PS3 release, I didn't see that. And that's why I'm doubting, to a certain degree, what we saw on the GTA 5 trailer. Now, in comparison to Red Dead Redemption 2, that trailer, the initial trailer, there was a lot less NPCs. So it was more believable. And even on the further trailers, again, still a lot less NPCs. And like more than half of the scenes that we saw on that were scenes that actually I've seen happen in the game. So that brought my trust up that when I see all the number of NPCs on GTA 6 on that trailer, I believe that this could be real. But to the sheer volume of NPCs that we see, I'm not sure. But yeah, I've never seen that happening. I've never seen two people jogging about and then girls turning around to look at them. Never seen that happening in the game. And on top of that, there's a weird heat haze happening. I've never seen a heat haze happening on the PS3 or even the PS4 or PC version of GTA 5. And then that's a whatever scene, realistically speaking. But when do we see the distance from that tree all the way up to the base bank building? No, it's a lot closer in comparison to what we saw with GTA 6. But yeah, another scene that we have not seen. I mean, this is the golf, this is whatever, but I haven't seen people golfing. Maybe I was just not paying attention, but I've never seen people golfing and then having their mates just there, just watching them swing. And then there's a guy sitting there. I don't think I've ever seen that in the game. Jet ski, sure. This is another scene that I've never seen. I've never seen NPCs holding hands because it feels so random. Again, never seen that happen. And on top of that, I don't think I've ever seen people with a hiking bag and a backpack, with a sleeping bag or whatever on the bottom. I think I've seen people with a backpack, but not like this. And I don't think I've seen many hikers, going as a group. I've seen hikers individual, but not as a group. This scene, that's definitely in game because NPCs definitely do slow down to look at you doing something with the car. So that's pretty cool. Man, the texturing is crazy. But again, if this is Franklin, I don't think I've ever seen Franklin put his arm on the door when the roof is going down. I think his arms stay inside the car. So I've never seen that happening. There's a lot more dust particles happening with this truck in the bottom. This is more of a PC thing because, again, if I remember correctly, PS3, we didn't have that much dust being kicked up. People doing yoga, I have seen people doing yoga, but not on top of their, not in their house. If I remember, I think it was just it's in a park. I think I see people doing yoga, and this looks like the house that we pulled down with Michael and Franklin. So interesting. And yeah, I have seen people working out, definitely in the game. This, I don't know what that animation was, but again, never seen NPCs actually interacting with each other in that way. And definitely have never seen that happening in the game. When I think I did see some NPCs back in the PS3 days working in those fields, but they were not working in the fields. They were just standing around doing nothing. So yeah, this, never seen that. As we continue. Now the homeless people, there's definitely a lot of homeless people in the game, but I don't remember seeing that many homeless people under that bridge like that. It's in the weird homeless area under another like overpass, but not here. I've never seen that. And especially this, never seen somebody putting out a post that their house was on for sale. This made me think that maybe we could buy houses and whatnot, different properties, and we would have different interiors like that. People were speculating those things, and that never happened. Yes, the only character that would change locations is Franklin. He went from his aunt's house to another house in the hills. That's it. Everybody else stayed in their same exact spot. This, never seen a hooker leaning against a car. Maybe I missed that because I feel like I have seen that, but I'm not sure. I know in GTA 4, there were times where the hookers would, but it was very robotic. And I don't remember seeing a homeless person holding a sign on the PS3 version of the game. But again, that's a very long time ago. And drunk people. Because as we see this person, and then this person be kicked out of Tequila La. First of all, again, we are not able to enter Tequila La in story mode, which is mind-boggling. So we're not able to enter this bar to watch a show and drink. GTA 4, we were able to enter a bar, watch a show and whatnot, and enjoy it either by ourselves or with a friend. Here, we don't have that. And then him being taken out by a bouncer and by being drunk, I've never seen that. It's crazy. And well, that scene, whatever. And this amount of fire on top of that, crazy. So yeah, this is what I'm saying. We say Rockstar doesn't lie to us, but here's some proof that Rockstar definitely did put a little bit of a pizzazz into this to make it seem far cooler than it is, because the game did not come out like that. And then here's the official trailer. The official trailer definitely shows the game. Now the official trailer has way more things that actually happen in the game. This is cutscene. Still the same cutscene. Again, another cutscene. So much of it is just cutscene. Again, another cutscene. Now this is gameplay. Finally. Cutscene. This is gameplay. Cutscene. This is gameplay. Cutscene. Gameplay. Cutscene. You see how much cutscenes we get? Do I need to keep saying that? It's ridiculous. The gameplay that we saw was very basic animations and whatnot. And as we see with GTA 5, yeah. So, yeah, no, it's kind of like whatever. The game is not a huge upgrade compared to GTA 4. Granted, it was made for the PlayStation 3, but that's not really an excuse, is it? And as we see in this, again, more cutscenes and whatnot. This is gameplay, so that's nice. But yeah, no, there's just so much of it that it's not a breathing open world that is crazy. It's just a game and it's a sandbox, and that's that. It's kind of meh. So much cutscenes again. And that's just showcasing the three characters. But again, so much of it is cutscenes. Now this, oh, actually, no, I think this is a cutscene when you enter the strip club. I don't know. Because, and then the fact that they're showing drifting, proper drifting, can't even do that in the game. Counter steering properly like that, bro. In PS, like you couldn't even do that properly. The car would not handle that well. You could just keep the wheel straight and then whatever. Now this scene, I don't remember this ever seeing this. I think maybe it was a cutscene, because this is definitely not happening in the open world. And I don't remember seeing that. Maybe I'm forgetting parts of the game. But yeah, no, it's crazy how much of it is cutscenes. Now the gameplay trailer showed a lot more truth to the whole stuff. It was trying to make it seem very cool. I'm not gonna lie, GTA 4, I prefer that way more than GTA 5. The story, the gameplay, and all the other things, I prefer that way more than GTA 5 still to this day. They're trying to make the world seem believable with those interactions, but those interactions are so fake that the people are not really interacting. They're just saying random things. And then we see some hunting. There was at least some wildlife. This is a random encounter that is kind of like, it's such a basic gameplay encounter. It was so underwhelming in my opinion, because if you look back at the video, just real quick to finish, let's show what is the cutscene and what's real. That's setting. Again, more setting. Cutscene. Obviously still the same cutscene. Now this is a setting. I don't think this is actual gameplay. This is setting. There's so much happening on that scene, on that screen. This is not like what you would actually see on gameplay. This is pure setting, in my opinion. Especially when we see the helicopter flying by, the plane with the banner, a plane up there. This is just setting. Now this is gameplay, more or less gameplay. This looks like gameplay. This doesn't look like much of a setting, but there's a lot of birds, so I don't know. This is setting. To me, this looks way too heavy. It's way too heavy on the system. I don't believe that this is something that we will see. This looks like it would, with the amount of AI happening, it would definitely tank the performance. Imagine, and you do all that, and then you pull out your gun, and then you start mowing people down, or something like that to cause a stir. All these AI individuals are gonna have to react. That's a lot for the system. This looks like more or less gameplay. This is a gameplay from a story point. This is, I believe, is a setting. I don't think it's gameplay or a cutscene. I think it's just a setting of, like, you know. Now, are we gonna see actual NPCs putting their arms out on the door of their cars? I don't know. This is setting. I don't think a club is gonna be that crowded. I highly doubt that. This is cutscene. This is whatever. This is a setting. Again, I do believe that this is a setting. A lot of cars on the road. And then here is the exclusive car that you can get if you pre-order the game. The fact that it's right there. I mean, if you buy the standard version, are you going to be able to see this car and then you'll have to maybe steal it or something like that? That's wild. Whatever. This club, I believe it's a mix between setting and gameplay. Because my question is, how many NPCs are we actually going to see? This is a setting to me. Or part of a cutscene. With the lady letting her legs float and all that stuff, the interactions between these NPCs. I mean, there's not a whole lot of interaction. This guy's on his phone. This guy's like pretending to interact. And these ladies are not really interacting. So who knows, again, the dialogue between NPCs, who knows how it's going to look like. Oh my goodness, the necklace actually has no shadows. Look at that. No shadows on the necklace. It's a fake, it's just a texture that has been given some kind of physics. It's not an actual physics object. Crazy. Or maybe it's not a physics object that is casting shadows. But this setting, this is a cutscene. This is basically the equivalent of a cutscene. The same thing here. Same thing here. Same thing here. Same thing here, obviously. Same. And that too. Those are not things that you will see happening in the open world. Those are just settings. Cutscenes. That's what I'm believing that it is. And that too is a cutscene. And that too is a cutscene, and that's a cutscene. That's a setting, and that's a cutscene. That's well, not a cutscene, but like, stuff. It's already pre-done. It's not happening live in front of you, and that's a cutscene. So, and that's just them making things happen. I don't think this is part of the game. Is it a pessimistic look? I don't know. This video went from a lot of seeing what is happening in the world to some assumption. It's going all over the place. It's a mess of a video, but it's part of trailer 1. So yeah, if you enjoyed watching that, I'll see you on the next one, and it will be about trailer 2. I'll end it now. Goodbye.